If we were to tell you that you could have one hit as a music artist and forever be in infamy, would you take it? You absolutely would. It's One Hit Wonder Wednesdays, giving you your 15 minutes of fame and extending it for a lifetime.
You are listening to 104.1 KQTH Tucson's News and Talk. What is this? Hour 3 of the James T. Harris Show. The time is flying. Got the sexy sidekick or DJ Boss Ross in studio. This is One Hit Wonder Wednesday. Charles in charge, taking your calls at 751-1041. You are listening to the James T. Harris Show. We have a special guest in studio, Miss Bonnie Faircloth. Welcome back to 104.1.
Thank you for having me, James.
Welcome back to the circus.
Ooh, I love it. And I know all these one hits. I know them, one hit wonders.
See, isn't that scary?
Yeah.
Especially when he starts going back to the 70s and stuff like that. I've tried to discourage him from doing that. He does have to keep me humble. It's the ones that I remember that are kind of like, kind of frightening. Oh, my gosh.
I know. I was thinking on the way over here, I know that one. That's pretty bad.
Indeed. Buddy, you are here representing the Tucson Foundation, Police Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you guys do great things around the city. Sometimes, I know last year we were doing a lot. We were setting up our table. Amanda was with us a lot. Mm-hmm. And we were collecting money for police to get vests
and other equipment.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. This weekend, we have a big event coming up, and I wanted you to come in and talk about it just a little bit. Not only because I'm there, as a honorary auctioneer.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I don't know which way. I don't know whose ideal that was, but I'll try to bring my A game.
You're going to be great. You're going to be great. It's not like numbers. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. You sure?
I am positive.
Because I'm ready for that. I was going to bring Ross in as a spotter. That guy's like, all right over there.
Oh, we need spotters. We need spotters.
Ross is. I think he's bouncing that
Bring
night.
your sidekick.
Anyway, so tell us a little bit about this event or what it's about.
The Unsung Heroes event. This is our 12th annual. What we do is the Tucson Police Department, the officers are nominated by their peers. And for work that they do above and beyond just their regular call of duty or their service that they give to the community already. So we have two officers and two professional staff being non-commissioned officers. So we have 4 honorees this year, and they have done some incredible things in the community outside of the work that they do already for the community.
And of course, I mean, it's events like this where we get a chance to we call it the Unsung Heroes. Mm-hmm. But we're actually going to sing their praises. And this is something, especially in our current environment, our current atmosphere, it's important that we take time out and to recognize people who are doing fantastic things for the community.
Yes, it's important. The foundation, again, like I mentioned, it's the 12th annual. So the foundation a while back decided that it's important to recognize these officers. They're men and women. They're people's mother, father, grandparents. That they're just people out there. They do the work that they do. They're dedicated already, providing their service. And then this is just some things that they do for the betterment of the community, for kids, there's a variety of things that they're going to be honored for on Saturday. So you're going to see some great stories.
You know what? This is great stories. Also, it's going to be at a great place. So tell us a little about where you're holding this.
Sure.
About sort of what the night's going to look like, and then I want you to tell people if they're interested how they can contribute, how they can come to it.
Absolutely. So it's going to take place again this Saturday up at Lowe's Ventana Canyon.
Nice.
It gets kicked off at 5:30. You can start walking in. There's a huge silent auction that takes place until about 7:30. The doors will open into the ballroom, and that's when the dinner and awards program will take place. In addition to our Unsung Heroes, we will also be special honor to Officer Jorge Tequeda, who was injured in the line of duty a while back in December. So we'll have a great call to action to help us with the raising money for vests, because it was his vest that saved his life.
I was about to say, yeah. And that was one of the case in point where the good people of Tucson they contributed to that. There is a real example of how that saves an officer's life.
Absolutely, and that will be on. We'll tell his story, and that'll be on display as well. So, if you still want tickets, they're still available. TucsonPoliceFoundation.org, and come up and join. And just purchasing your ticket and being there and participating in the auction and the call to action is a way to donate to the Tucson Police Foundation and all the efforts that we're trying to do.
The Tucson Police Foundation has been very, very active. I mean, we recently had the Doggy Day thing that you guys were
The
a part
Canine
of.
Walk for Cops.
Canine
That
Walk
was
for Cops.
awesome. Yeah.
We also, I remember, you were part of the Border Patrol 5K Walk Run Ruck.
Yes,
I think
we had
you
a booth
presence there.
We sure did.
So I mean, you guys you're all over the place, all over the city. But this is the time to come together and just formally recognize officers.
It is, and it's important for the foundation to create some awareness that we exist, so that we can act as that vehicle for the donations, so that we can accomplish our mission to get the items that are especially needed by the officers, such as vests. We've done things like not only bulletproof vests, but just non-lethal, like pepper ball launchers. I think we've talked to Sergeant Pelton, the K-9 sergeant, about that. And we just recently purchased 6 bicycles as they engage the bicycle unit patrols as well. So
fantastic!
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, then let me ask you this: do we know what I'm going to be auctioning off this evening?
Yes,
can we talk about that a little bit? Or
Absolutely. You're going to be doing the live auction and the call to action. So live auction items are 2 different experiences with TPD. With one with the TPD Special Operations, and then another with the Service Dog Unit. Goes over really well.
Okay.
And then a luxury 7-night stay in Puerto Vallarta.
Ooh. I can have it. Yes.
Oh, yes. That'll be great. And then later on in the program, that's when you'll do the call to action. That's when we raise money specifically for vests. And that's when we're going to talk to Officer Takeda.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I heard that part of the deal here, as an auction, I get to ride along on a real SWAT mission because I'm a sharpshooter.
Okay.
I'm very well trained and stuff like that.
You can bid on that. Oh,
really?
No, I'm sure they'll set you up. You can come and experience that.
Right. No, thank you. Actually, I don't. God bless them for the job that they do. God bless them.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen here. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. Give the audience one more time. Sure. Tell them if they want to go.
Okay.
What they need to do to attend.
All right. Tucson Police Foundation's Unsung Heroes Awards Gala this Saturday, April 29th, up at Lowe's Ventana Canyon. Tickets are still available. You can get those at TucsonPoliceFoundation.org or give us a call, 207-2878. We need your support. The officers need that. We can't wait to give the recognition to those officers, those unsung heroes that are out in the community every day helping and serving.
Bonnie Fairclough, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to seeing you Saturday.
All right, my friends. All right. And where'd your daughter go? Is she here?
She's in the corner.
Oh, she's on the table. Okay. Hey, how you doing? All right. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH Tucson's News and Talk. Always good to have you.
Thank you.
gave a girl.
Sammy Johns on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
She crawled in and took control. She was tired.
This is a 70s jam right here. Right. I used to be able to sing that.
Talking about a Chevy van.
Yeah. This is a great song.
I actually am scared of the days when you could hit that falsetto note.
Oh, I used to be able to hit that. And here it comes again, right? But actually,
Gonna love me in my Chevy van,
and that's all right with me. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah. You're listening to One Hit Wonders. I was about to say Way Back Wonders.
Not a bad name, actually.
Have there like in the 2000s were there one hit wonders, or were they all repeats?
No, there have been some. I've not played a ton of them because the better ones I think break FCC violations.
Oh yeah, we can't.
Which stinks, but I can look again. Some of the 2000s music is just dreck.
Yeah,
not all of it, but some of it is. But that's any decade.
Bill Nye, the science guy, is in the news again, my friends. Again. Really? Bill Nye,
the science guy. Bill Nye, the science guy.
Bill Nye has had enough of your kids. Extra kids. On his Netflix series, Bill Nye asks bluntly, should we have policies that penalize people for having extra kids in the developed world? Extra kids in the developed world. The internet is rightly mocking the complete disaster that is the Rachel Bloom My Sex Junk video, which we, on bad judgment, played yesterday, and judgment we will not repeat. My sex junk video that's part of the new Netflix series, Bill Nye Saves the World. As bad as that is, and it was very, very bad. Another portion of the series is even worse. The 13th and final installment is titled Earth's People Problem. Earth's People Problem. The 26-minute episode starts off fairly offensive fashion, following an intro that demonstrates how human consumption is like sponges soaking up water. Nye explains how women who have access to educational and professional opportunities tend to have fewer children. This is true. And he illustrates his point by telling the story of his mother, who developed technology for the United States during World War II and went on to earn her master's degree and doctorate. That's inspiring. Isn't that inspiring? Nye says when women are empowered, they have fewer children and more resources can be devoted to those children. It's not rocket surgery, it's science, he coyly explains. Sure, it's not science in the way that, Punnett Square is science, but there is certainly a correlation there and that overall goal of providing equal opportunity to women is noble enough. So, yeah, let's just indulge him on that one, says this is the Federalist magazine. The Federalist. Noting that the population density is highest in India, Nye correspondent Emily Caladari, she went on to India to deliver a report on population growth in that country. Population growth in India. Women in India get 16 weeks of paid maternity leave. Wow. That's unheard of. 16 weeks of paid maternity leave. Let me see here. That's what he said. I think California, they get more than that. No one ever. Yeah. California, they do. I was right. 16 weeks of guaranteed maternity leave. I also disregard the fact that the absence of a federal requirement for maternity leave does not mean maternity leave is not existent in the United States. Yeah, people just quit. Oh, see, yeah, okay. He's trying to say the third world has it right compared to what we do here in the in the first world. I can't read this anymore. Oh my gosh. This is just as bad as the video yesterday. Actually, he's talking about basically in the United States we should have forced sterilization. Like China. Well, no, didn't they do that as a part of the Tuskegee Institute? Yeah, they sterilized. Well, they did this to Americans of African descent. Yeah, Tuskegee. You know what? I feel like if the more I say Tuskegee, I'm gonna start, trying to pronounce it like Governor Jan Brewer did at that time, when she couldn't get Tuskegee out.
Today, Junior.
That probably got purged from the system, didn't it? That was a long time ago when Tuskegee. Anyway, forced sterilization is what Bill Nye, the science guy, got into on his show on Netflix.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
It's funny that Bill Nye would be bringing up forced sterilization right now, and of course, as you said, Ross, that's what China used to do. Because China recently ended their one-child policy. Yeah. So isn't this wild? China is abandoning their policy. China, especially on the coast and in Hong Kong, have embraced capitalism. And Bill Nye, well, he's headed in the opposite direction. He's trying to embrace the one China policy. And most of his clan are trying to embrace communism. Bill Nye, the science guy. I'm going to go and I'm going to look at his whole Bill Nye Saves the World. I'm going to look at that series. I'm not a TV watcher, but I am going to binge watch Bill Nye's Netflix series.
Yeah, they are, like 20-minute episodes?
Are they? That's not a big deal.
Well, you said the last episode was 26, and that seems long. So I'm guessing it's about a half-hour show.
26-minute episode.
Right, so I'm guessing every episode's around that. I mean, you'd have to look on Netflix to see. I mean, it shows it, but...
Do you think I could do it, or do you think that I would hurt myself by watching that much Bill Nye?
Well, if it's 26, it's a little over 4 hours of Bill Nye straight.
Yeah.
If you binge watch it.
Yeah.
You would probably despise Bill Nye after that show, if you don't already.
But I kind of do now. I haven't seen that much of Ben Nye. Ben Nye. What's his name? Bill Nye. I haven't seen that much of Bill Nye, but I do. I don't like him. I don't like his eyebrows. And then just that video we played yesterday when he was dancing by, what was his name? DJ Tyrannosaurus Rex?
DJ Seahorse.
Seahorse. When he was dancing by DJ Seahorse, something happened where you're just like, this guy's not right. It's not that he's not right. This guy is very, very wrong for children. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying after the My Sex Junk video, Bill Nye dancing to My Sex Junk video was disturbing. Okay. Play President Obama for me one more time, please. President Obama. Chastising the American.
I want to be clear. We're not trying to push financial reform because we begrudge success that's fairly earned. I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money.
Yeah. $450,000 a speech. We're gonna have to come back and visit that again. I have to mine some more deliciousness out of that. I had one of my proteges, my liberal proteges, send me an article today on that, on the money that former President Barack Obama's making. And he had a real problem with it. I don't have a problem with people making money. I really, really don't. But I do have a problem with people saying that we shouldn't make money and we should, give more. And then they turn around and just are hypocrites. Who is this, Ross?
Carol Douglas on One Hit Wonder Wednesday. Doctor's orders, watch 4 hours of Bill Nye, and then hate him even more.
You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
Larry Santos on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
Yesterday when he came here, Willie's eyes swept the floor.
I know why that was a one-hit wonder. I can't even believe that was a hit. 75. Thank you very much. I'm about to say the 1970s. There are probably people out there right now that are tearing up because they remember this in their heyday. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH, Tucson's News and Talk, my friends. I have a guest on the line, Miss Lisa Fink. She is a parent and a board president of Choice Academy's charter schools. Lisa's been an education activist in Arizona, working with groups such as the Mommy Lobby, Opt Out AZ, and Arizonans Against Common Core on behalf of Arizona's kids, teachers, and parents. And we welcome Miss Fink to the circus. Lisa Fink, welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Oh, thank you, James. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I think we've tweeted, at least I've sort of forwarded some of your tweets on the Twitter machine when it comes to the Mommy Lobby, a very powerful and influential lobby here in Arizona. You know, I gave the audience a brief introduction of you, but it is incomplete. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, most importantly, I'm a wife and mother of 6 children. I also have served on the Arizona State Constitutional Commemoration Committee for 8 years, and before those years, I was the chairman. As you mentioned, I am board president of Choice Academies Incorporated, which has 2 schools, Adams Traditional Academy and Jefferson Prep, and I was a founding member of that. I helped get that started. And, of course, as you stated, we're part of the Mommy Lobby, seeking to restore parental rights, and most importantly, parental rights to their child's education. Which is
a very important, I think, especially in the times that we're living in right now. So much parents have so little to do with, so little to say about what's happening in our schools. The State Board of Education voted on Arizona schools' A through F grading system. Can you tell us a little about the grading system, how it is set up now, and specifically what the system they adopted?
Well, basically what they did is that 90% of the grade of a school is based on the results of the AZ Merit test. And so, in fact, what we've done is we've made AZ Merit a high-stakes test. 10% of it is more, related to for high schools like graduation rate, and then for the K-8, it has to do with special ed and inclusion is special ed, and also absenteeism. So it's a minimal part of the grading system, but once again, basically, it's a one-time shot. The AZ Merit being the main determining factor of how a school is graded.
Okay. Now, board member Jared Taylor, I believe, voted against the system, and you supported his choice. Why is that?
Well, once again, the AZ Merit, 90% of the school grade is based on that, and AZ Merit is a faulty test based on bad standards. Basically, they're still Common Core standards. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a true representation of a quality school. And the thing is that it's just, once again, a one-time shot. Another thing is it doesn't show kind of the whole child. Right now, the AZ Merit just tests on reading, writing, and math. But we know it's essential history, science, music, art, PE. Those are all essential to creating a whole child and being a complete education. And so that's the concern that, Jared brought forth. He actually also brought forth a compromise to reduce the percentage just by 20% to only 70% of school grade being only for the grade of the school, and then incorporating other factors music, art, science, including those as being important factors of a quality school, and it was rejected.
All right, then. In a perfect world, then, Ms. Fink, what system would you like to see put into place?
Well, first of all, no high-stakes test.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would prefer. The other thing I would prefer, let me give you a little bit of background.
Okay.
When we started our first school, Adams Traditional Academy, we opened the doors with 215 students. We had no test data. Why did parents come to us? Well, they came because they liked the curriculum that we were offering. They liked our mission and our philosophy, the administration, the teachers, and a big part of that we have is parental involvement. We have put in our charter opportunities for parents to have a say at the school. And then I should also add teachers as well. And that was very appealing to many parents. And so they brought their students to our school without any test data. So with that in mind, the best thing would be is to have kind of a consumer's report, I guess you could state, and it would include the high stakes, the testing information, but it would also include many other things. Do they wear uniforms? What do they use for the reading program, writing program? What sports do they offer? And maybe there's a niche in regards to providing services for children with special needs. That's what I would prefer to see. And, it could be on the Department of Education website for parents to look at. But we need to have that information. We use that information for computers, for homes, for cars. Would not education be the most important information that we need? And we need to have a complete picture of the type of school that our children are going into.
You raise a very good point. I remember I was a high school teacher maybe about, 18 years ago. One of the things that drove me out of the school as a teacher is the standardized testing they were doing at the time. I have found a way to teach history differently. We would start at the present and move back in the past. They want to start in the past and move to the present. And, of course, when it came down to the state testing and all this stuff, we were not on the same timeline. So I was asked to change, even though the students, parent-teacher conferences, they were asking me about, history and seasons of history and this kind of stuff. It was actually, they would come home and talk about what they were learning in school. But at the end of the day, it was all about the test. What I hear you saying is the test standard that you guys voted against is not necessarily a bad if it's part of many, but it's bad if it's just the only one.
Exactly. It should be part of a whole picture. But I will also tell you, the other issue is with that test, in particular the AZ Merit, it has never been validated. And in fact, the American Institute of Research is the entity that creates the test. And they are a behavioral organization. And they usually do more psychological testing in that. So why is that test being utilized, or that agency or entity being utilized to provide an academic test? And maybe it's good. I don't know, and nobody knows because it hasn't gone through the proper validation process that has been done in the past.
When a lot of times when we talk about education, people's eyes glaze over because of just how bureaucratic, how inflexible our leaders are here. What I hear you saying again is, if we're going to use this thing, at least it should be tested. There should be some type of information that graded this system. You're talking about a grading system, that it explains the weaknesses and the strengths of it. But again, that all gets lost where? How could it be? Now, you have charter schools, and you said that people are attracted to your school because of the curriculum, because of the program, what you have laid out. Why is it so difficult to adopt this, to other educational institutions?
Yeah, and that is something that the other thing is like maybe our model doesn't necessarily work for every child as well.
Right.
Maybe there are other models that work where maybe there is a lot of ELL, and so they need to approach that differently. But with the standardized testing, it's trying to cram everything into
A one size fits all.
Yes, and I'll tell you, I've also quote, adopted a refugee family from Syria, and they have 5 children, and it is just heartbreaking to see because the mother is trying to help her children. Both the mother and the father are trying to help their children to do well here in America, but their scores look bad because they're trying to push them into the standardized test. And we need to kind of step back and say, oh, wait a minute, what is the background of this education of this student, and are there holes? And let's go back and fill those holes, especially math is huge. Fill back those holes and then move forward. And I did talk with the teacher of one of the students, and she has 31 students. 5 or 6 of them, I can't remember now, actually speak English as their native tongue. And the rest are a couple different languages. Is that teacher going to be determined ineffective because her kids didn't do well on the AZ merit test? And is that school going to suffer because of that? And that's wrong.
Well, and of course, you ask good questions because dollars are tied to that test, right?
Yes.
Just like when I ended up leaving, and I understood the principal's point. The principal's point was, dollars are tied to this test, and you're screwing around with, the district's money. It didn't matter that the kids were not being educated. What mattered was that, I should say, the form of education they wanted, teaching to the test is what's mattered, and the kids score on those standardized tests. And you're telling me 18 years later, it's the same thing and worse.
Yeah, and I should say there isn't dollars are still tied to the students, but where the dollars come in, the funding is that parents will and people will not go to that school if it's not doing well. And so because of the decrease in student population, because Arizona has a very robust choice environment, and with the ESAs I've just passed, that will increase as well. And so this grade, even though I should say that the state still gives them, the money per student, but it does affect your enrollment, and enrollment affects the money and the budget.
Ms. Fink, I'll tell you how much I appreciate you giving us some time this afternoon to bring this to our attention. What's coming up next?
Well, one of the things is coming up next is that we have been pushing for a menu of standards. So that's important because therefore that gives some local control back to the districts and the charters to meet the needs of their students. And then the other thing is that there is a menu of assessments. Unfortunately, I've heard that there's a bill to try and push out that menu of assessments for another year. The State Board of Education was supposed to have voted on the high school this past school year, but did not. But for this coming up school year, they are directed by statute to approve a menu of assessments so that schools can choose according to what their curriculums, what maybe I should say evaluate how they're doing on their mission and philosophy in the curriculum that they're utilizing.
Excellent. Okay.
And so that's, but again, there's a bill right now. I don't know where it's at this time, but they're trying to push it off another year. My understanding it is the Chamber of Commerce is behind that.
Oh, there you go. I'll tell you what, Ms. Fink, we'll keep an eye on that, and I know just who to talk to about that. I want to thank you very much for giving us some time this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lisa Fink. I tell you, we do have people who are involved in education. They're 9 times, 8 times out of 10, they're parents who take the time to kind of just sift through everything here. Oh, look at this. I'm hearing from legislators right now. Very effective. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
Cletus Maggard. That's right, Cletus Maggard and the Citizens Band. on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
Time I hit 92, I saw something flashing in my rear view. Thought to myself, that can't be true, but there it was, it going blue, blue, blue.
rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And Afternoon Delight. The Starland Vocal Band, everybody, on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
Man, this is one hell of a one hit. Did you line it up for like the grand finale thing? Yeah.
The very first time I heard this song was on one of my favorite movies of all time, that being Anchorman.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about a movie? Dude, I remember this the first time I heard it on the radio. We used to sit around the radio and try to harmonize. We had no idea they were talking about relations. None whatsoever. Charles, when you were a kid and you heard this song, did you know they were talking about relations? You didn't know that? I didn't know they were talking about relations. Yeah. Afternoon Delight. Anyway. See, that's back when music used to be, they would write the lyrics and it would be like subliminal. You wouldn't know. You just saw, if you were a kid and you listen to this, you're thinking they're talking about, Afternoon Delight, the stars, just skyrockets in flight. You didn't know skyrockets in flight in the afternoon. What you doing lighting off firecrackers and fireworks in the afternoon? What are they talking about relations? Now, when I grew up and realized that, I'm like, oh. You ever sneak home and play that song? Baby, what you doing home? Skyrockets in flight. Afternoon. Go back to work. Coming up, my friends, we're going to turn our eyes back to the national news for just a moment. As we have tax reform on deck, we have the Freedom Caucus talking about Obamacare. They're on board. I bet you somebody else is going to start tripping now. Why? Because the Republican... Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
Walter Murphy on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.